You go. That's pretty cool. Okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I'm going to give everyone just a few minutes to come on in, but thank you for joining us today. We'll get started in just a moment. Awesome. All right. Looks like we have folks coming in. We'll get started in just a minute. Awesome. All right, well, we'll go ahead and get started. So thank you everyone for joining us. My name is Nicole Kaysen, and I am the event marketing specialist here at Consensus, and I will be your moderator for today's session. So this webinar is presented by Consensus, Transform How You Sell with Consensus, the first product experience platform. Automate demos, drive faster decisions, and accelerate growth. And you can learn more at gotoconsensus.com. Now, before we begin, I do want to invite everyone to DemoFest. So if you're unfamiliar with DemoFest, it's a 3-day virtual event redefining how pre-sales drives the entire go-to-market engine. So it'll take place from April 22nd to 24th, and as mentioned, it is completely virtual, so you can join us from anywhere. You can register at demofest.com, and I will go ahead and put the link in the chat so you can visit that afterwards. All right, so we encourage you to participate in today's webinar. Our speakers will answer any questions at the close of the event, but you are welcome to post your questions at any time through the Q&A on the right-hand side of your screen. So in addition, we'll be sharing a brief survey towards the end of the session. So just keep an eye out for that, and please feel free to share all your thoughts with us. And now I would like to introduce our speakers. So today we have 3 amazing Consensus leaders: Rex Galbraith, CRO, Todd Jansen, SVP of Customer Success and Buyer Enablement, and Colin Smith, VP of Product. And they're going to talk about the way buying is changing. Actually, it's already changed. So Rex, Todd, and Colin are going to dive deeper into the digital-first buyer, who they are, how they buy, and what they want to experience while buying. Learn how Consensus is leading the way to help revenue teams address the digital-first buyer by providing personalized product experiences at every stage of the buyer's journey by leveraging a comprehensive product experience platform. And with that, I will turn the rest of the time over to you guys.
Perfect. Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate it. We're excited to jump through this today. And let me just get this pulled up. Okay. So the digital first buyer, I'm excited to talk about this topic because the world is changing, especially in the software world. The way we buy is changing dramatically. And we had a chance to talk about this at DemoFest on the West Coast. And there was a resounding confirmation that while traditional selling methods seem to be changing slightly, the buyer is changing at a pace much faster. And let me give you 3 data points to back that up. Buyers today trust their own research over salespeople more than ever. The second is 75% of modern buyers prefer to self-educate before engaging with sales. And then the third, there is a huge power shift. Buyers now call the shots. They get to choose the way that they want to engage and purchase, where in the past, they had to go through our motions, fill out our forms, do the discovery in the way we want before we gave them any type of product experience or demo. So what does that mean? And how do we impact that? How do we change that? How do we get ahead of it? Before we do that, I want to tell you a quick story. This is my dad, my brother on the right, me on the left. He said something the other day, and it stood out to me. He said, "I just stopped by the bank to check to see if my money's still there." And that's a concept that that didn't make sense to me. I just grew up in a world that was very different. And I think most of us did. But he's the type that has to see him in person. He has to go print out a receipt and just see what his bank statement looks like. And so let me compare my dad to yesterday's buyer in traditional banking and modern buyers, which would be more like the most of us here. So when it comes to location, my dad, yesterday's buyer, would go to a physical brick and mortar location, where today we would go completely online interactions and have all the engagement we need. When it comes to research and discovery, my dad's going in, he's talking to family and friends, doing more face-to-face. We're the modern buyer, we're doing online reviews, comparison sites, looking at social media. When it comes to opening a bank account, he's going to go fill out a triplicate, a form, a document, use actual physical paper, where we're going to open an account instantly through an app that will digitally verify who you are, and you're going to be rolling and have a bank account open in, I don't know, 10 minutes. When it comes to daily transactions, like using the banking product day to day, my dad's going to go to a branch, deposit checks. He's going to wire money that takes 2 to 3 days, where today it's all on your phone, real-time mobile deposits, contactless payments, transfers, etc. It's instant. You don't even have to touch cash. When it comes to customer service, he goes to the bank, he talks to somebody, he drives in, he makes a day of it, and has a conversation where we are chatting with AI-driven bots, customer service tools online. We can get it directly from our phone. So that is an example of yesterday's buyer now meeting today the modern buyer who wants a completely different experience. So the modern buyer is a digital first buyer. That is the way that we buy things today, not just our day-to-day goods, but software as well. We want to digitally experience something before we go actually talk to a human being. And that is proven in this number. 75% of B2B buyers prefer self-service rather than talking to sales reps. Later and later in the sales cycle, they're getting much more educated, they're self-educating. And if you don't get a digital first experience in front of them, by the time they get to you, their mind and their frame and their mindset around your space may already be hardened, and it'll be very difficult to try to get any type of sell or traction with that current client. So let me share with you, traditional sales processes create unnecessary waiting. There's a lot of waiting, just like in traditional banking, where people want instant access. Today, according to our research, is 6 to 10 business days to see a live demo. So from the time someone's excited about seeing your product and what you have to offer, the average organization takes 6 to 10 business days to finally give them that demo, where potentially your competitors have already been on call 1 or 2 and they've seen some digital demos. Minimum of 3 to 5 live demos needed to get a deal done. And that takes time. So if you're taking 6 to 10 business days for every one, that's elongating the sales cycle. And then businesses control the pace, leaving buyers confused. So when you don't give your buyers choices, they are confused. They don't know where to go. Hence the reason why we built Consensus, to answer the buyer's call to action. And it's been quite a journey. While demo automation, buyer enablement, product experiences seem to be recent, it's been a long 10, 12 years. In 2013, the first demo automation prototype was created. It was done just on a sketch. Garrett Hess, our founder, wrote that. You can actually go to our website and see how it came to life. 2015, we actually launched the product. 2021, Aragon was the first organization we know of that announced and said that there is a category called demo automation. A year later, 200 million plus in investments pour into the marketplace for technologies like in the demo automation space. Forrester, Gartner, G2, they come into the mix and they start talking a lot about demo automation, interactive demos. In 2024, Consensus gets over $100 million investment from Sumeru Equity Partners to continue to push forward and lead the space. In 2024, we bring Colin along and the Reach Suite team as we saw them as the right tool to take us a step further and give people experiences that they wanted. And then projected in 2026, they see the demo automation space reaching $2.1 billion. So there is a very big push in the marketplace from the top companies, the top thought leaders, that demo automation, interactive demos, getting in front of the buyer and being digital first is the way of the future. And not only the way of the future, it's here today. So that has yielded us having the opportunity to work with over 500 customers, 50%, more than 50% of the top 30 software companies in the world, and 40% year-over-year growth as of the end of 2024. So that being said, what's amazing is with all the innovations that we've made, it's really been pre-sales. It's been the tip of the spear that's shown us the way to do this. We did so many things wrong. We did so many things that we just had to learn from experience. And what we learned is as we work with pre-sales, they knew what it took to be a digital first company and to allow buyers to have a digital first experience. And we're very appreciative of the pre-sales leaders, the thought leaders, because they are the most trusted when it comes to a buyer. They're the ones who spend the most time with the buyer and the product. They are the geniuses who know the solution. I've always said this, that pre-sales people are the most ubiquitous role on the go-to-market team. They're needed everywhere, and they know how to tell the stories. So we now come to this crossroads. Do we continue doing the same thing and just sell the way that we're selling when the modern buyer is moving in a completely opposite direction? You know, Adam Freeman, who we work with, and it's great, he always says, would you buy from you? Would you buy the way that you sell? And not yet have we heard someone say yes. And that is because of this chasm that exists from traditional selling and modern buying. That we are in an anti-social generation where modern buyers want to talk to reps on their own terms. They want to talk to the least amount of people. They want to buy the way they want, and they want to buy as quickly as possible. So the way that we do that is it starts with pre-sales, but it goes beyond the funnel. What we learned is that while pre-sales is the tip of the spear, it takes the whole go-to-market team in order to enable a buyer. From marketing, pre-sales, SDRs, channel, sales, customer success, it is essential that all of them are included in helping the buyer, the modern buyer, have a digital first experience. So with that being said, while demos are extremely important, the demo is no longer enough. People need different types of experiences at different times, depending on where they're at. They need a giant lift and shift in the way that they're engaging with sellers today. And with that being said, I want to welcome you to the new age of buying, where we are going to talk about how people can have product experiences in different ways through a product experience platform. And to talk about that is Colin Smith, who will be going over how this new age of buying is going to impact us and those on the call today.
Thanks, Rex. It's always a pleasure going after Rex because he sets the stage perfectly for really, it's the problem that the market is experiencing, but it's really the new demand of the modern buyer. And we just had this conversation. We just did this presentation or a version of it at Demo Fest. And I said to everyone there, you know, we had hundreds of folks there, look, raise your hand. So I want y'all to use the chat because I can't see your hand raised. But there's two ways that we can think about this, right? We have camp one, which is folks are bummed out. There's a new way of buying and we have to evolve and we have to change what we've been doing. We just got good at it, right? That's camp one. And then there's camp two, which is I'm excited. The buyer's evolving and so are we. We're evolving. And that gives us a competitive advantage. It gives us competitive differentiation, gives us an ability to win in 2025 and beyond. So I need to know, using the chat, because I could do hands in San Francisco, what camp are y'all in? Are y'all bummed in camp one? Are you excited? Are you pumped to welcome this new modern buyer in camp two? So one or two in the chat. I'll put mine in. Camp two, okay. Got a couple twos, 10 twos. Awesome. I need to know where the audience sits, right, before I go into the next part of the presentation. That's really exciting. So with that being said, let's talk about how you're going to solve this new market problem. How are you going to meet these new market and buyer demands? And that's where I want to welcome you to your full funnel product experience platform. Now you're going to hear a few things today, and I want to make sure that At the end, I summarize it for you. But the first thing that I want you to write down is watch, try, explore. Watch, try, explore in one platform. Watch, try, explore for every stage of your buyer's journey. Watch, try, explore for each buyer and your prospect's buying committee. These are the 3 pillars of the product experience platform. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into those. But with that being said, okay, Colin, enough with the buzzwords, enough with the marketing lingo. What is the product experience platform? Now, I have right from our marketing messaging, I want to make sure I define it for you properly. The Consensus Product Experience Platform is a single platform that enables full revenue teams to send video demos, dynamic tours, simulations from one viewable demo board link that empowers every member of the buying committee to watch, try, explore personalized product experiences based on who they are and what they care about. It really is the world's first single platform comprised of video demos, dynamic tours, simulations, and it's 100% powered by Consensus AI, Clarity, and our intelligent discovery question automation. So let's dive a little deeper into that, Rex, if you don't mind. Thank you. So now what's really exciting is every Consensus customer will have 2 ways to automate discovery questions to better personalize the buyer's experience, right? Of course, we have the classic feature rating capabilities that built Consensus, that made Consensus the brand that is, the G2 leader that it is. And we're adding a new one, which we're calling Advanced Intelligent Flow Builder, which unlocks limitless demo creativity and dynamically personalizes the buyer's demo or onboarding flow based on their responses to the questions. And that's the view there on the right. And we believe that each buyer's journey is unique. It really is. And we know that you are the expert at that, not us, you are. And so we're giving you the canvas to create any flexible demo you want with the new Intelligent Flow Builder. And that is now part of that product experience platform. So we'll keep moving on. We talked about those 3 pillars, right? Watch, try, buy from one platform, but also watch, try, buy, watch, try, explore, across the entire buyer's journey, right? I want to talk about what that means. So we'll back off the feature talk for a second, translate this technology into business outcomes. Starting with how the full funnel platform, product experience platform, elevates pre-sales, right? Because there's a lot of folks in this room who are pre-sales leaders. In fact, can we use the chat? Just a 1 or a +1 or something. Are you a pre-sales leader? Give us some acknowledgement in the chat there. Serge, Matt, awesome.
Colin, what if they're not a pre-sales leader? What symbol or emoji should they use?
What function are you?
Yeah.
If you're in marketing. If you're in sales, you're in sales. If you're in CS and CS, let us know. And the reason why I ask is because Consensus certainly was built originally on pre-sales and for pre-sales. And if I was in pre-sales, I'd be wondering, okay, Colin, you're talking a lot about product experience platform going full funnel, right? What does that mean for me as a pre-sales leader? What it means is we need you. We need you to help pave the way for this full funnel moment, to work with your marketing leaders, to work with your sales leaders, to work with your CS leaders. This is an opportunity to take Consensus full funnel, which I believe gives pre-sales leaders the ability to go from prepping board slides to presenting board slides, from mid-funnel to full funnel. And you will become, in many ways, the internal owner, or at least the internal thought leader around the product experience platform because you were the earliest adopter of it. And that means more opportunity, of course. So let's talk about how you can drive business outcomes across the full funnel. And we have some great marketers here, CS, sales, and I want you all to also chat with me here, talk with me here about how you can rely on your pre-sales leader in your organization to help you as you make this transition to product experience platform. And marketing, starting in marketing, where the buyer's journey begins. Your organization needs to partner with pre-sales and demand gen and product marketing to build video demos and dynamic tours that tell a personalized story based on use case, business problem, or persona. And you can use dynamic tours in each of those buyer segments, either those pain point segments, to guide the buyer to the perfect wow moment based on who they are and what they care about. And pre-sales needs to have a hand in that and work with these marketing teams to help craft that story that resonates and drives to the wow moment quickly. Sales, moving next door to our sales friends. Sellers need to rely on pre-sales, and pre-sales need to help sales to craft the perfect pre-demo, video demos, dynamic tours, standardizing the perfect demo, live demo, dynamic tours, demo assist using dynamic tours, and the perfect post-demo leave behinds, which could be simulations, video demos, or dynamic tours that help the sellers sell in the rooms that they're not invited into. And again, it comes down to the story. It comes down to the personalization and how pre-sales can partner with the sellers to help them nail that messaging because they are not in the room to give additional context. Lastly, customer success. Once the prospect becomes a customer, our CS friends have to turn that pitch vision into a reality. And pre-sales tends to be one of the higher product knowledge groups who can help and partner with CS, and CS, please rely on them to help you craft hands-on dynamic tours, video demos, and simulations that drive these onboarding users to those wow moments in the first seconds with your experience, with your first seconds of onboarding versus the first weeks. So we'll keep moving over to that value pillar 3, which is watch, try, explore with every buyer in your buying committee. So we all know if everyone's here is selling something, we can bet our bottom dollar on that, right? Everyone here is selling something, which means someone's buying it. You have a buying committee. And as Rex shared with us, that buying committee is actually growing significantly over the last 5-10 years. And I think we all know each of our buyers, depending on what level or what role they are, they buy differently. So without the product experience platform, if you only have the watch, or you only have the try, or you only have the explore, you have none, you're missing the appeal of 1, 2, and maybe 3 of your buyer types. We know that executives tend to want to watch video demos. They're on the go. They're in and out of airports. They're moving, they're shaking. They don't have time to get into the details. Give us a high-level snapshot of the ROI and why this solution will solve our problem. We know that managers, they want to get hands-on, but they don't want to get all the way down to the end user level. They just want to see high-level snapshot. Does it meet our requirements? Is it fairly easy to use? Managers tend to want to buy using dynamic tours, interactive product tours. And end users, they're the ones in the tool every single day. They want to explore. They want to explore in simulations. They want to get hands-on and go anywhere in the 4 corners of the product they want, or at least in the core flows that you've prescribed them. Because the amazing thing about simulations is we know that there are core flows you want to put an end user on, and you don't want to distract them with anything else. So you can define those flows and limit them or really focus them to just those flows and simulations. So it's mission critical to have all 3 watch, try, explore solutions, or else you could be sending the wrong content or the wrong demo to a decision maker. And that's a mistake we all know would definitely hinder win rates and potentially even ARR goals. So moving on to kind of one more. I want to coin a phrase here today, and I'm calling that the product experience platform maturity curve. Product experience platform maturity curve. As you know, probably by now, we have 3 solutions: video demos, dynamic tours, simulations. When together, the whole platform is greater than the sum of its parts, because it enables you to win the buyer's demands at every stage of the journey, and it enables you to win the buyer's demands across the entire buying committee, executives, managers, and users. With that being said, to put it plainly, video or tours only, good start. Definitely good start. And honestly, you're doing better than most, right? Video and tours, definitely doing better than most. It's a great go-to-market strategy. It's a great way to win with the modern buyer. But video, tours, and simulations, that's world-class. That's how you win in 2025 across the entire buyer journey and down through the entire buyer committee. The more demo modalities you have, the more buyers you satisfy, which means the more decision makers you influence. And that equals the more revenue you win. The more demo options equals more closed won revenue. That's the way we see it. So I threw a lot at you. It's my 3 takeaways for today. Threw a lot at you. This is what I really want y'all to remember. And please take a screenshot of it. I hope I'm able to say that. Take a screenshot of this slide. The product experience platform boils down to 3 things. Number 1, Aristotle, right? The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Number 2, full go-to-market solution. It has been designed to serve every stage of the buyer's journey. As you probably know, Consensus has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of customers, and I've seen the product data. Our product team did a phenomenal job meeting with hundreds of customers to ask them what did they want at each stage. And Product Experience Platform was the answer. And third, the Product Experience Platform satisfies each buyer committee member's needs. Executive, manager, and user. They evaluate differently. You want to win all 3. So with that being said, this has been a lot of concept, a lot of philosophy, right? A lot of slides. I want to turn it over to the man who actually has done it in real life, and the man who is actually working with our customers who are doing it in real life every single day. My good friend, mentor, and our SVP of Buyer Enablement and Client Success, Todd Jansen.
Thanks, Colin. All right. One more, Rex. So, why is this level of immersion so important? We as a profession, pre-sales, we've been doing demos a very particular way for a very long time. Why are we talking to you about all these different ways that a customer can experience your product? And I've been doing a lot of research around this, and really what it boils down to is 3 things. It boils down to emotions. Next slide, Rex. Senses and trust. These are the things that we use every single day to make purchasing decisions. There's a lot of things we use, but these are the ones that really rise to the top when it comes down to when we pull the trigger on a buying decision. And so I want to drill into these just a little bit more. And I was doing some research along this, and this Harvard professor is pretty adamant that 95% of all buying decisions are based on emotions. I find this to be pretty extreme. In some of my research, I saw this as low as 70%, which for me feels a lot more realistic. But I found it interesting that as much logic and spreadsheets and matrices and data that we collect to try and make a good buying decision, this professor saying, no, it really still comes down to emotions. And, marketers have understood this for a really long time. Like, they understand emotional branding down to the colors they use, down to the color of the logo. And so I think, for the marketers on the call, this world really well. Like, how to play to emotions. But I think for us in pre-sales, this is a bit new for us to think about as a concept. But when you think about the best SEs, when you think about the best demos, what are you doing? Like, you're invoking emotion, right? We love to sell to pain. We love to sell to pain. That's an emotion, right? Fear and uncertainty and doubt. So this is absolutely in our wheelhouse. I just think, we just need to get a little bit more educated with our friends over in marketing, because they seem to really understand this. The other thing that comes into play, and it's really subconscious, is our senses. Our senses really allow us to trust products on a deeper level. Whether it's what we eat every day, what we consume, the coffee that we like, these senses are so subconscious, and they have such an impact on what we buy. Todd, why are we talking about senses today? This is some really touchy-feely stuff. Well, in the digital world, there's 3 senses that we can use. There's a lot of senses we can't tap into, but there's 3 senses we can use, and that is sight, and that is sound. Video can do a great job of that. Obviously, our live demos that we do tap into that as well. But one thing a live demo really doesn't convey to a customer is feel. When we buy physical things, it's really touch, but in the digital world, it's feel. And if you're the one doing the demo, it's hard to really convey this sense or get an emotion around it. But with some of the products that we're talking about, some of our features that we're talking about, you can allow the buyer to touch and experience and feel for themselves. And so when we talk about feel, it's user interfaces, it's the UX, it's the animations. And so this is a little different version of a slide that Colin and Rex were showing. But the question I have to ask, and why I'm kind of dragging you through this, is, are you maximizing your buyer influence before you meet them? There's a lot a buyer's going to do before they want to meet with the people pouring themselves some coffee over here. And so how do we maximize that? And we can maximize that when we tap into emotions, when we tap into senses, and we do the thing that we do best, and we've been doing it for years, is build trust. And emotion and senses help build trust. And so, when we talk about our product experience platform, it is a way to accelerate buyer trust through these digital experiences when you're not in the room. And that is a key point. You are not in the room. We are not in the room as much as we'd love to. So we have to have an alternative to get that buyer trust. All right. And so I work with our top customers every single day, and some of the top brands in the world are really starting to jump on this very, very quickly. And I will say, it's a lot of influence from marketing, right? Marketers have kind of understood this for years. And I think that the genius here is that there's a relationship happening between solutions and marketing that I've never seen before. All of a sudden, marketing wants to put these things on the website. They're putting a click-through tour right on the homepage of the website, ungated, because they want to give that experience right out of the bat. How often have we been burned by giving our name away at the beginning of a lead gate just to get that downloaded PDF, and it totally didn't deliver on what we wanted? People are burned by that. And so top companies are rising to this challenge, and they're thinking about the stages that a buyer goes through, and they're starting to think about, what does the video look like? What does the experience look like? What does the interactive product tour look like? What is the sandbox or simulation look like? So it's not only top companies that are thinking about this. Actually, go back one, Rex, if you can. Oh, something dropped out. That's fine. So top companies are recognizing this. Go ahead. But pre-sales and solutions, use whatever word you want to use. I've seen solution consultant, it's all the same. They're starting to realize this as well. And I think the brilliance of all this is solutions has a much bigger part to play than just the middle of the funnel. When we think about the live demo, and by the way, I'm not saying the live demo goes away. Not at all. That is our stage. That is our theater. That is what gets us out of bed every morning. So that stays. I just, sometimes I confuse people. I'm saying this is an addition to, this is a plus one. But unfortunately, the live demo is in the middle of the funnel and we have to do it live and in person. How do we unlock our skills, our genius, if you will? And how do we spread it across the entire funnel from the website to renewal? And that's really what we're talking about. And our platform is here to help you do that. And if you're able to do that, you're enabling the buyer, you're building that trust. And here's the coolest part. You're fueling and empowering the entire go-to-market of your company. And that's a very new place for us to be in pre-sales. And it's an awesome place to be in. And with that, I'll leave it right there because we've thrown a lot of slides at you and a lot of new topics. Nicole, I think at this point, we probably want to open up to Q&A and answer some questions.
Yep, exactly. Thank you guys so much. That was really, really great content. And yeah, we're going to open the floor for questions. So feel free to put them in the chat, in the Q&A, and we can start going through that. All right, well, we can start with this one. Are there companies you're working with today that have been able to embrace this full modern buying initiative?
I'll take it first. So yes, and it's relatively new, and so they're just getting started. So don't worry if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I need to start doing this now. They're just starting now as well. But some of the logos on that slide that I had previously, so Salesforce is really diving in. That's where I previously came from, so no surprise there. I've been pushing them pretty hard. But other companies like Access Group and Workday are also pretty aggressively moving this direction as well.
Yeah, I will say this while we're waiting for if any other questions come in. When we say you're a genius, we really mean it. While I think we come up with good ideas, every great idea when we reflect back has come from a customer. Like the concept of a product experience platform wasn't something that we just concocted. It was feedback and seeing how people engaged in the way that they wanted it. We had customers who were taking our solution and using it in ways that we never imagined and got extremely creative. And so what we did is we just put the packaging on something that the market had already built and wanted. And we saw that the buyers, the way that they were engaging with it, they tended to want to engage digitally through a watch, try, explore type of format. And so we're just adapting to the modern buyer and the digital first needs. And so we're just super appreciative because I think a lot of times there's really no original thought anymore. It's just, can you put it together in a way that moves the market forward? So it's been really neat. And it's been an honor on our side that we tend to get credit sometimes, but part of the reason we do these webinars is to really show appreciation to the marketplace for finding these. And I will say, while most departments have helped in this, pre-sales was really the one that led the way in terms of showing us how does a buyer want to engage with the seller today.
All right, we have another question that came in that says, to what extent do you think this varies when doing enterprise level selling, very high ACV versus more mid-tier?
Oh man, I'm happy to take that. That is a great question. So I've been with Consensus for 9 years, and I've been trying to calculate how many deals and how many demos I've been on, and it's got to be thousands. And that is probably one of the most common topics that get brought up. Is this a transactional approach or is this for an enterprise? And what I'll tell you is it's both. The deployment is different. From a transactional perspective, product experience is great because it pushes you, if you're into the product-led growth or sales-led growth, it pushes you to help people engage and get further along their purchase before a human gets involved. From an enterprise perspective, the fact that we work with 16 of the 30 largest software companies that have some of the most complex technologies. I've worked with a group that they only sold to banks and airlines. And, unless the deal was 10 million or above, they weren't having it. But what they realized is that there are a lot of micro interactions that have to happen in between meetings. And so it comes down to how you deploy it, but it does definitely have a use case on the transactional side all the way up to $10 million deals.
Yeah, I'll just chime in real quick with my experience at Salesforce. Same product, different use cases. SMB is really about just kind of lack of resources. The ratios of SE to AE are really thin, and so you need to lean on something else to help you. And so we saw tremendous success there. The enterprise is a little bit different. The enterprise is about discovering all these stakeholders, and some of these large deals that I saw, it could be upwards of 40 or 50 people involved in the decision making. And so we didn't highlight it today, but that's one thing our tool does help, is discover who is watching this, who it got forwarded to, what they liked. And that's really the enterprise play. And, I think back to Salesforce, there was a large deal we closed, and at the beginning of the sales cycle, the large company said to us, you're literally going to have to demo 40 or 50 times if you want to close this deal. And we just counted the number of resources we had in the deal, and it just wasn't humanly possible. And so this is really a way that to kind of avoid the 50 demos. You're probably just going to have to do 12 or 20, but it's just different solutions.
Awesome. Another question is, on average, how long does it take to create automated demos, simulations, etc.?
I'll take that one. So the simulation onboarding period, we have an internal SLA of roughly 5 to up to 7 business days. It depends, right? Like anything, like mowing the grass, how large is the lawn versus how small is it? Doing an apartment versus doing a farm is very different. So oftentimes we'll onboard a customer and it'll take 30 minutes, half a day. Maybe everything's already been implemented. For larger, more complex customers, again, it depends on how much of the technology do they want to have implemented. Is it just a couple key demo flows that you tend to go through, regularly? That's a lot easier. It's a lot shorter. It's a lot smoother. If it's larger, then that's where you start pushing up on the 5 to 7 days. But the SLA is 5 to 7 days. So far, we've met that with all of our customers. And what you get is the result is a full clone simulation of your sandbox that you can use. And to Danny's question above, you can use them, of course, as like POC replacements, or you send it to a customer as a URL. Or you can use them in live conversations and live demos. One of the big challenges that we've heard is that data hygiene, personalizing data sets on the fly, these are very cumbersome, expensive, and time-consuming tasks. But with simulations, you have this perfect snapshot of your environment, and all of the graphs are up and to the right. Everything looks the way you want it, and you clone it, that simulation there. All of the dates will continue to live on in perpetuity. So all of the dates will move in real time. The data set stays the same, and then you can clone or duplicate rather that master template and start changing the data. Change the logo from McDonald's to Wendy's. Change the data set to be healthcare versus manufacturing. All of that data can be manipulated and changed using our AI data editor on the fly with your simulation. So that's the key value, really, is the data hygiene, the personalization, and doing it in seconds versus doing it in weeks.
Let me just add to that. So that's our simulation product. We also have a dynamic tours product, and to get that up and running is no joke. It is minutes. You basically hit a screen recorder, you click around. You might want to add some text and some pop-ups and things, but it's minutes. And it can auto update. So as your product changes, you can have it go in and reshoot it, and it'll take all those changes into account. So two different products, the dynamic tours and simulations. We're seeing, SEs do a lot of these dynamic tours. That's what we're seeing marketers put on the website, kind of as a first touch guided tour on Rails. You don't want to drop people out in the wilderness of your product and say, hey, good luck. I hope you find some value in this product. But what Colin was talking about is like when it's time to give someone the real experience. Yeah, that's the good stuff.
I think Tyler brings up a point that I want to crystallize. If you want something guided, right? Dynamic tours, and that's seconds. There is no implementation, right? Like Todd said, you click through your product, we automatically watch where you go, and we record a dynamic tour, and then you can put guides on top of it. If you want something that's open world, something you want to show live, right? Something where you want to personalize the data set. It's not guided. It's a real simulation of a product. Then you want automated product simulations. 2 products, but for both different use cases. And Danny, hopefully that answers your question as well around, does the product experience platform serve live demos or self-serve? And the answer is literally both. And our customers are using it in literally both.
Awesome. We have another question that asks, is there a sample demo that can be used for exploring and navigating the consensus tool for self-paced learning or training opportunities?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll let Rex, yeah.
Yes. So there's a lot of, this is where the genius of the market has come out. We never intended it to do that. But there are a lot of our customers that will use this on onboarding. So when people get new licenses, it will say, this is what role are you? And then it will change the presentation based on the role that they are. And then it will ask them what parts of the technology do you want to learn or be educated on. So it can be very dynamic in the way that you use it. I wouldn't say it's an LMS, but it definitely has had vibes of that people have used it for. Todd, I don't know if you want to talk about, but I know on the Salesforce side that maybe it was a year ago, they said that every new rep will see an automated demo that will kind of help guide them. It's kind of like a digital first onboarding opportunity where they can self-educate at their own pace, in addition to live training as well.
Yeah, I read this question. There's so many ways it could take it. So I'm not sure if we're hitting the mark, but I can read it as like, can you guys actually provide us some samples of this so that we can see it? The answer to that's yes, we can absolutely follow up with you and do that. So I don't know if we want a little more clarification on that. I just want to make sure we hit the mark.
Okay.
I did see a question I really liked from Danny. He says, is the intent to watch, try, explore, is it intended for the buyer to do this before live demo? So to answer directly, yes, absolutely. But to continue it further, use it throughout the entire buying cycle. So you could use it post live demo. I think there's this incredible opportunity for solutions to create these and then make them available to CS for upsell, cross-sell. So I think it's full funnel, but primarily, please, before the live demo.
It's pre-live demo with dynamic tours, video demos. It's intra-live demo with simulations. And also, we have some great customers who are using dynamic tours for live demos as well, because they're just removing the call outs and it's so animated and it's dynamic. So you wouldn't know you were using, a dynamic tour. You wouldn't know you weren't in the real app. And that's in the demo. And then post demo, our customers are using simulations for end users. They're using dynamic tours for managers. They're using video demos for executives for follow-up to go penetrate deeper and multi-thread wider in the organization. So it's pre, intra, post.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of, so, a year ago, we really specialized in between the meetings. And what we learned is that if you really want to engage with the buyer everywhere they're at, you have to engage with them at every point. And that's where the acquisition of ReachSuite came in, is we made a decision that if we're really going to help the buyer from end to end, we have to help them everywhere that they operate. And so we had 3 criteria when we were looking to either build or acquire something. And we had the opportunity to look at a lot of different options there. And one of them was, is it quick? Can it be done in minutes and not months? The other was, it shareable? Could they share it? And, is it just something that we can show and then they can actually can they get their hands on it? And the other was, does it break? Is it unbreakable? And what I mean by unbreakable is if anyone here has ever experienced a demo breaking live, it is a very stressful situation. And that was one thing that we were not good with. And so we said it has to be able to share with thousands, tens of thousands of people. And regardless of what's happening in the live environment, it has to be stable. And when what we did is we're like, we're either going to build this or we're going to, and eventually we were lucky enough to come across Reach Suite that met all three. So now Consensus went from in between meetings to anytime the buyer wants to engage to three experiences that were fast, shareable, and unbreakable. And so that is the essence of a product experience platform.
Adona, thank you for the clarification there. Great follow-up. Yes, so we saw this with video at Salesforce. Our sellers, our new sellers were watching these videos like crazy before they sent it out to the buyers. And it was 2 birds, 1 stone. So they were using it to get educated on the product, which was awesome. And now we're seeing that evolution come into the click-throughs and the product tours. And there's a use case where this is being used to onboard new reps, because you can't say like, hey, go practice creating a quote for your customer in a real live environment. And it's really costly to have a sandbox environment to have them practice on the real thing. And so they're using these things to onboard reps, so they actually get to touch and feel what it's going to take before letting them loose in the real thing.
Great. We have one more question that says, how has the data gathered during the buying process been used by CS functions after the sale to help drive consumption and expansion?
Oh, can I please take this one? So at Salesforce, I was an SE for a long time there. We'd make the deal, and then CS would say, can you send me a link to the demo environment that you used? And I might have used that demo environment for like 20 other deals. And again, it's not very helpful. They have no idea really what I showed. And if I didn't send them detailed notes, it was probably like the worst handoff in the history of sales. And I will just say, like, that's not uncommon. I think that's pretty much the norm everywhere. And so what I like about this new paradigm is stop asking for the login to the demo environment. Ask for the links to the actual video that you sent the customer. And then in parallel, look at the analytics on the back end of what people clicked around in. And those two things are very, very powerful in a handoff. I'm trying to keep it brief, but that one excites me.
I'll share a real customer example. Also, we have a customer as a core product, but of course, like naturally, they've expanded and acquired, and they've built guides within their application that are triggered on certain actions that will say, hey, and we actually do this now at Consensus using dynamic tours. Say, hey, excited to check out product B or C. Take this dynamic tour, get hands-on with it. And they've used these as lead generation, lead generation channels to find expansion opportunities inside of their existing customer base that they were never able to identify, because customers aren't hand raisers either, right? They want to kind of lurk in their anonymous buyer setting. And they actually saw a significant increase. This is a very large HR technology company. They saw a very significant increase in expansion revenue and conversions through that channel versus cold outbound to your customers, which is always a little awkward.
Okay.
So hopefully that answers your question on using data in the CS side.
Awesome. All right. Well, we are nearing the top of the hour. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Any unanswered questions will be forwarded on to the team. We want to thank everyone for joining us today. Thank you so much to Rex, Todd, and Colin, just for lending your time and your expertise. Really enjoyed the session. Really appreciate all the engagement in the chat and the Q&A. And we hope to see you at DemoFest Virtual. We hope everyone can make it and hope everyone has a great rest of your day. So thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.